Hi again. I took a little break from doing voiceovers because I got a bit behind on editing. I ran out of things to talk about, and I was just having a hard time staying motivated. Also, I'm not sure if you'd rather hear from me or just watch the drawing process. When I watch videos, I do enjoy a nice voiceover. I like hearing whatever the artist is thinking. It's kind of comforting. It's like hearing from a friend. And these days, I know many of us are lacking in social interaction. I definitely am. So listening to art YouTubers talk and listening to podcasts, this kind of supplements that feeling of actually interacting with other people. So when I can, I'll share some of my thoughts. Today is day 23 of Inktober, and the prompt is RIP. This was another day that I didn't have anything prepared ahead of time, and I didn't have any idea of what I would draw when the time came. The only thought that came to mind was ripped jeans, so I just went with it. I struggled a lot with this sketch. It's funny how some days I can sit down and draw and everything kind of fits together and seems to work, and other days it's like pulling teeth. This day was definitely one of pulling teeth. Sketching and erasing and staring at my sketch and starting over and more staring at my sketch and existential thoughts of, who am I kidding? I can't draw. Maybe I could never draw. I struggled particularly with the face and head in this piece. I just couldn't get it to look right. But sometimes I can get away with printing a digital sketch even when it doesn't feel complete and kind of fine-tuning it in the pencil sketch phase. And luckily this was a time I was able to kind of pull it off. I do apologize for the lighting. I try my best to get the filming done when the sun is still out because the natural light tends to look better than the lamp light. I probably need to get squared away with my lighting situation, but on days where I struggle with creativity and motivation, I've just been biting the bullet and filming anyway because so far I've been able to complete all the drawings for Inktober on the actual day, knock on wood. And I don't want to break my streak. Last year, there were a few times I got behind, mostly because of work or also because a couple nights we didn't have power last October. So I had to do 2 Inktober drawings in one day. And then I ended up finishing the 31st drawing like a couple days into November. And this still felt like an accomplishment, but a goal that I was trying to keep to this year was finishing and posting all the drawings on time. And so far, I've been able to pull it off. So anyway, RIP was a day that I was kind of just winging it, and I didn't really think I was going to be happy with how it turned out. The detail of the ripped paper framing the piece and the ripped paper in the background, well, at least I hope that's what it looks like, because that's what I was trying to show. But that was totally improvised. I surprised myself by the time this drawing was done because I actually did like how it turned out, in spite of the complete struggle it had been leading up to that. Day 24, the prompt was dig. I did have a relatively simple sketch prepared for this day, just at least to get the anatomy down of somebody holding a shovel. Sometimes anatomy is a thing that seems to cause art block for me because it's not usually that I don't have creative ideas, but that I can't get them to look right. So it was at least a relief to have that out of the way. I also had known that I wanted to make it look like she had just dug up a piece of dirt in the background. I wanted it to vaguely look like it could be a grave, but not make it super obvious. I think leaving the reason she's been digging to the viewer's imagination makes it a little more interesting and kind of spooky, or at least that's what I was going for. Overall, this day kind of felt like just getting it done without much excitement or fun behind it. This is obviously a natural part of drawing every day to a different theme, and I'm kind of stubborn, so I won't really let myself stray too much from the prompts, and the result of that is that I feel like some drawings are just literal interpretations of the prompt and not necessarily interesting or even good. In a perfect world, I'd be able to have something totally creative and unique and beautiful every day, but that's definitely not realistic. During Inktober, I constantly remind myself to adjust my expectations and take what I can from the experience. Learn from every drawing, every day in some way. That's really what challenges like this are meant to be about. Day 25, the prompt was Buddy. This was a day where everything seemed to fall into place. I did a quick sketch in the morning and it was looking good. I was excited about it. Then, of course, I dropped ink right onto my drawing. Not once, but twice. And this was seriously the first time, surprisingly, that I had ruined a piece while inking. And of course, it would happen on a day where things seemed to be going well. I have no idea why my fountain pen decided to turn on me like this. 25 days, going strong together, and then betrayal. I had just refilled it, so I don't know if it's something I did wrong. But when I was testing it after this happened, it dropped a couple more times. And dropped ink a couple more times. So I honestly don't know what I did. And I have a bunch of other fountain pens like this one because it was cheap, so I bought like a few of them. And I considered filling one and just using that because I've really been enjoying this particular pen with this waterproof fountain pen ink. But honestly, I think I have trust issues now, and I would be so sad if it happened again for some reason. so I didn't. And I was feeling a little disheartened having to start the whole thing over again, so I thought I would just skip the pencil sketch the second time and go straight in with ink, which I kind of regretted. I realized that there's some fine-tuning that happens during these different stages of sketching, like tracing the digital sketch with pencil and then going over that with ink. Because particularly the face on the right, it didn't look nearly as cute the second time around. Normally my process has been just to use the fine liner for the faces and other lines that I want to be thin and controlled, but I was using the fountain pen for everything else, so it wasn't as enjoyable having to do everything with the fine liner. I tried not to get too discouraged though. It was still early in the day, but I think there's just something about having to start completely over that made me rush a bit through the rest of it. Looking back, I think it would have been more productive if I had just taken a break before I started over, step away for a bit, and come back with a fresh perspective. But I just kind of plowed through it. Despite all this, even though I still think the first attempt would have been cuter, it ended up looking pretty good. To switch it up, I just used a basic black gel pen for the detail in the background, because I was sick of the fine liner and I wanted to see if I could replicate some of the feel of a fountain pen without the potential downfall of a huge drop of black ink. It was nice to change up the materials for a little bit for the process. And in the end, I did like how the drawing turned out. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, blah, blah, blah. You know the spiel. I will be back with another video in just a couple of days. Have a good one. Bye!